Hey plant fam! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jacqueline. This is part of my jungle, and if you're not new here, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you for still being here. So you guys already know, if you have been here, that I did my top 10 creepy, spooky, weird, goth plants for Halloween, and you guys really enjoyed that video. I enjoyed making that video, and of course I had so many other plants in mind that I decided it would be a good idea to make a part 2, and a lot of you wanted a part 2 as well. So here we are. I've got a list of 10 more plants. I don't have many of these. I have 2, but let's get into it. So the first one on my list today definitely falls under, I think, the more like a goth, kind of just like really kind of badass vibes, honestly, and it is the Queen Antherium. Let me scoot over a little bit. The Queen Antherium. So this is kind of just one of those plants that I feel like everybody agrees on and is absolutely gorgeous. I love the long strappy leaves. They're kind of velvety. Disclaimer, this plant though is kind of a pain in the butt. Not everybody struggles with it, obviously, but it definitely is not like the most easygoing plant that you're gonna have in your home if you have one. They're very heavy feeders, Antherium, the Queen Antherium especially, and she does like her humidity. She does not like to be dry, but she also doesn't want to be super wet. So if you're good with plants like that, then I absolutely think you would be fine with this plant. But there is an alternative. I know this isn't like a buy this, not that video, which you guys also loved, and I'm more than happy to do more of those as well. Those are just a little bit harder to think of, but the Antherium Esmeralda is a hybrid, I'm pretty sure, of the Queen Antherium. I apologize, I don't know. Queen Antherium is number 1 on my list. Number 2 on my list was actually inspired by some live auctions that I was watching over on Instagram and Plant Story with Derek at Plants with Dirt, the Houseplant Co., whatever you want to call it. But if you guys have been in the auctions, then you know they have these Alocasia flying squid. So when I saw this thing, I was like, this is so freaking weird. It has to go on the list. So number 2 today is the Alocasia flying squid. I don't know if there's like another proper name for it, but this thing, do you see this thing? How weird is this? I love it. I don't do Alocasia. Again, it's one of those plants that can be a little bit finicky. They're just very particular about their environment. Again, make sure that they're not drying out for too long and that you're not like drowning them either. So with Alocasia, you really have to find that happy in-between place. So if you're good at that, these would be good for you. I don't think they need as much humidity as the Queen Antherium, so I don't think it's as difficult. But if you're looking for something really weird to add to your collection that people are gonna look at and be like, what in the heck and Bob even is that? Is that even a plant? So, Alocasia flying squid is number 2 on my list of, I think I would call this one creepy and weird for sure. Okay, so number 3 on my list today, I wanted to include a Calathea. I was looking at some in the store and I was like, you know what? This plant definitely has like goth girl vibes, and I dig it. And my favorite one, and the one that I chose for this list, is the Calathea Doty. So this one has just this really dark, like purpley maroon colored leaf, and then it's got this really beautiful pink kind of around. You see it. It's just really beautiful. I love the combination of like that darker color and that pink. I think that if I was curating a collection of like darker, fun plants, that throwing the Calathea Doty in there with such big leaves, I think really can round out your collection. Because if you're gonna have a lot of vertical plants and trailing plants, you do want to make sure you have some like a bushier plants too, and Calathea are so good for that, like aesthetically. So in my mind, as I was putting together this like little visual table of like creepy, weird, like kind of gothic, cool plants, this one came to mind that I thought it would just really fit in nicely to this theme. I know that, again, Calathea can be a little bit hard for people. I think they're way easier, in my opinion, than Alocasia, and definitely easier than Antherium. Depends on the type of Antherium though, but it also depends on the type of Calathea that you're buying. I don't think they need a ton of humidity. Mine live in regular ambient humidity here in the Northeast, and they do fine. Just, again, don't let them get completely dry. I always tell people, like, when it's 80%, water it again. Just don't let it dry out, and if it does dry out, it's okay. Just don't let it sit like that for more than a day or two. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Anyway, let's move on to the next one on the list. So number 4 on my list, you guys, is, it might surprise you. It's a Bromeliad, but not the creepy ass grocery store Bromeliads. I want to make that clear. When I talk crap about creepy ass Bromeliads, it's because of the ones in the grocery store, like the really generic looking Bromeliads that have those like open flowered things that just look terrifying to me. So like, yeah, they're creepy for sure, but not in like a good way. And Bromeliad is a family. It is not a genus. So there are so many genera that fall underneath their Bromeliad family that I cannot sit here and say that I hate Bromeliads, because, hi, I like pineapple. It's a fruit that eats you too. Who doesn't like pineapple? And I do love air plants. Air plants fall, Tillandsia fall underneath the umbrella of Bromeliad. So one that I do really love though, I mean, air plants obviously can be creepy and weird for sure, but my favorite are Cryptanthus, and I love this one because it does still have that like Bromeliad feel to it that you would expect. You look at it and you're like, yeah, that's a Bromeliad, but it's a way cooler one than those creepy grocery store ones. So the Cryptanthus just come in different colors and patterns. They still have those like rigid leaves like a Bromeliad, and I think they're pretty cool. And I do really like the pink one. I don't know the names of them, I'm sorry, but there are lots of different varieties of Cryptanthus, and I definitely recommend checking them out if you think they're cool. They're really easygoing, easy to take care of, and something that I would consider using in like vivariums and stuff like that in the future for a pop of color. So definitely an interesting, weird plant. I feel like you can literally just throw Bromeliad in here as number 4, but like I said, that's a whole entire family. It's very, very broad. It covers a lot of different types of plants that you wouldn't really even think were that similar. So I guess though the way pineapples grow is kind of creepy, and they eat you too. They eat you back. Yeah, Bromeliads are just fucking creepy, you guys. I don't know. There's no other way to slice this, right? So number 4 on my list, Bromeliad. Specifically, I enjoy Cryptanthus and obviously Tillandsia. I have lots of them. Okay, you guys, so number 5 on my list today is a plant called the dead stick plant. And I've seen this one before, and I think it's really weird and really cool. And I feel like it definitely falls under the creepy category when it comes to the reason why I would choose like Ripsalis and stuff like that. The way the plant hangs, and almost like spider plants. I guess you could put spider plants in there too. Any plant that kind of like hangs like that definitely has that like creepy kind of like spidery vibe to me. And I mean, it's called a dead stick plant. It's literally called Euphorbia platyclada. Sorry, I have it written down here because there's no way I would remember that. So it is a Euphorbia Not surprising, but this is the first euphorbia I put on this list, which is surprising because euphorbia in and of themselves are also just very strange. Like they look like, much like Tillandsia and Bromeliads, like they look like they came from an alien planet, and I dig it. I'm not mad about it. So euphorbia platyclada, I remembered, dead stick plant is definitely weird, and I need one. I just need to find like a small one. I've only seen them in big hanging baskets, and I would love to snag a little one because I like euphorbia a lot. David and I really enjoy euphorbia because they're weird. And yeah, we like weirdos, so that's really what it comes down to. Let me know if you guys have this plant. I would love to know. Have you ever even heard of it? Have you seen this thing before? Is this something that you would put in your home, or is it just too weird? Number 6 on my list, I realized that I didn't put any Hoya on the list because there aren't very many Hoya that I would categorize as like creepy or particularly goth or spooky looking. And then I was sitting on the floor in front of my cabinet and I was like, you know what, that's not true, because here we go, Hoya Malea. Just ignore this, the leaf like bled on itself and it just has always been like that. But look at these long dark green leaves. They have that very like sword like feel to them. They're kind of ripply, which makes them look serrated, and it's a very, very dark green. So these leaves can get even bigger than this and longer than this. That's fine. And I definitely think it fits into the goth category, that if I was trying to curate my perfect goth girl plant collection, I would definitely want to include this one. It's got these nice stiff leaves, and Hoya in general definitely kind of have a weird vibe to them, like innately, the way that they grow. Look at this long tendril. And she's working on some little baby leaves all along her stem here. You can see those little leaf nubbies, I call them. It's a very official term. It's very scientific. So Hoya Malea, I love it. Even the name kind of just has that, like, I don't know, Disney villain aesthetic. Like, it's just a thing. So I had to put it on the list because there were no Hoya on the list. So this one is number 6. Number 7 on my list today, I had to choose. I'm trying to keep it varied, different genre, different types of plants, so that there's something in here that can appeal to everybody. So I wanted to choose a Syngonium, and my favorite dark leaf Syngonium is the Erythrophyllum. Yes, I always mess that one up. If you guys watch my plant shopping videos, you know that I always mess that one up. I never know if it's phylum or stemma. Like, I always forget what that like suffix is. Anyway, Syngonium, Erythrophyllum. I think there are other names for it, like red arrowhead or something like that. I genuinely don't know. I've always called it Erythrophyllum. And I mean, look at it. I don't have one in my collection right now, but I have had them in the past. And they just have this really dark, gorgeous leaf. And then you have that pop of that maroony red color on the back of the leaves. It's a gorgeous trailing plant. It's a gorgeous trellising plant. It's a Syngonium. So again, it's one of those plants where it doesn't want to get super dry. But if you can find a happy place for this plant, they grow so quickly and so easily. You just have to make sure you're on top of keeping them somewhat moist, not letting them stay dry for too long. They're a lot more forgiving than other plants, for sure, but they're fun to grow. They propagate really easily, and I like them. I like Syngonium. They're growing on me, you guys. I'm never gonna be like psychotically collecting Syngonium the way I do Hoya and Monstera, but I have gotten a couple of new ones lately and I don't hate them. So number 8 on my list today is actually 2 plants, but they are very, very similar. And I think I even had them confused for a little while, but now I have both. And I can show you them side by side so you could see how they're different, but also see how they're similar. And that is the Stapelia. Got one of those right here. And a Huernia, which I have one of those right here. So you could see similar but different. So these are the plants that have those weird lifesaver blooms. This one is the one that they'll call the lifesaver cactus. I have had this one bloom for me before. If I can find the photo of mine blooming, I'll put it here for you guys. If not, I'll just put a stock photo. But they do have really cool blooms, and I think that they are weird as heck. I like this one better. I think this one is weirder. This is the Stapelia, and the reason why I prefer this one is actually because it's kind of fuzzy. It's soft, minus the cat hair that's on it. But this started out as just like this one little tiny one here too, and it's grown quite a bit. This pot is adorable as well. Let me know if you guys want the link to this on Amazon. I can leave it for you. Just leave me a comment and ask me for the link to the anime pots and I will send them to you. They're some of my favorite. But anyway, the Stapelia also has weird blooms, arguably even weirder than the Huernia. So I'll pop in a picture of what it looks like here. This one hasn't bloomed for me yet, but it's weird. And obviously when I was thinking about the strangest plants in my collection, these ones always come to mind because look at how strange they are. There's some little bloom remnants still left in there. This one bloomed quite a bit for me actually this year. Anywho, that is number 8 on my list. I just love how fuzzy this one is. It looks like it's pokey, but it's not pokey. It's really soft. So 10 out of 10. Recommend snagging one of these weirdos for your collection if you don't have one yet. And I think I got this little teeny tiny one. David and I got it for like dirt cheap back in the day. These are not expensive plants. Very easy going plants, unlike a lot of the ones I've shown you on this list today. The Hoya is also super easy going. But number 8 on the list is the Huernia and the Stapelia. Let me know if you have either one of these in your collection, or if you only have one, do you want the other? Have you seen them before? Has it bloomed for you? They're so weird and I love it. Number 9 on my list is one that I feel like some people actually genuinely hate. And I think they're really cool, but I have a hard time keeping them alive. And that is Lithops, or brain rocks, a lot of people call them. And I mean, they're pretty creepy. They definitely look like little brains. So I'd say they definitely fall in the creepy, weird category if you are into more succulent-y cacti type of plants. I have a hard time keeping these ones happy. I can never seem to get the watering down on these plants. They always die on me after a few months. So if you have any care tips for the Lithops, definitely feel free to drop them in the comments below, because in my head I've always had this dream of having just like a really nice size planter full of like different colors and sizes of Lithops, because I think they're freaking weird and really cool. So that is why I put them as number 9 on my list today. Last but certainly not least, number 10, I decided that I wanted to put the rat tail cactus in this category of creepy, weird, spooky plants for Halloween, because I think this is the perfect plant to put into like a head planter. Maybe not a Buddha head, but like a regular head pot, and have it kind of look like Medusa. Because this plant, even though they call it a rat tail cactus, I understand why it would be called that. it kind of does look more like snakes the way that it grows. And if you do put it in, like I said, a head pot, I think it would be really cool. Maybe even a skull planter. I might have to do that. I've always wanted one. I just haven't really pulled the trigger on one because I want a big hanging basket of it, and there's nowhere to put one, and David is terrified of a plant like that falling on him. So I feel like I have to wait until I have just the right space to put one. But I love cacti. I love trailing cacti, and I think this one is just really, really cool. So, Rat Tail Cactus is number 10 on my list. Let me know if you have this one. Let me know if you have any of these plants in your collection. If you agree with my list, if you think I'm crazy, that's fine too. Let me know what you would add. If I did a part 3, I'm not going to do a part 3. If I did, what plants would you put on it? I can link part 1 for you up here if you guys want to go and check that out if you haven't seen it yet. You don't need to watch them in order. It's not that serious. So definitely go and check that one out if you enjoyed this one and you're curious to see what other plants were on the list. So yeah, that is it, you guys, for my top 10 creepy, weird, spooky, goth plants for Halloween. I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me today. If you did, you should give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. There is a join button down there if you want to be, if you want to be part of the official plant fam. Get yourself some perks like extra content and early access to my sales, things like that. If not, there's a super thanks button if you want to super thanks me, but you guys already know the best way to support me and my channel is to shop my plant shop, and I will have it linked down below for you guys so you can go and check it out. Keep in mind that anything you buy over the next week or so will not be shipped out until the week of November 6th because I will be on vacation. So if you have placed an order with me and it hasn't shipped yet, that's why. So week of November 6th, you guys will be getting tracking info. So if there's anything you're looking for, definitely go and snag it. I appreciate you guys. I literally can't do this without you. There's non-planty stuff up there too, like just like pottery and trellises, cute little knick-knack decoration stuff. Go and look. Just go and look. See if you like anything. Let me know if there's anything you are interested in me adding. I'm thinking about maybe adding some of the clear pots that I use to the website if you guys would be interested in that. So let me know. I love you guys. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are out there in the world. Don't forget to spread kindness. Don't forget to drink your water. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.